it is quite a very interesting process, which is I'm enjoying the slow process of it, but also the mechanical side of it, where I really have to be quite uh, strategic and very sort of I mean, things that doesn't work. Things that work do work. Also, a lot of it is also by chance. So I do depend on like this moments of like what time of the day do we arrive and we get to see. For instance, I remember we were in Free State. Then there's this particular cave we were supposed to go in, and then just first looking, then I realized that I wouldn't really be able to really get anything processed in this time because of the time that we arrived there. But what was really beautiful was that because I was also using like the recorder, the sound, I was able to kind of depict and really get like an oral sense of what the space encompasses, really. Um, then thinking through like a way of mediating between the visual and also the sound or the oral, the sonic aspect of things. Uh, where in moments where there is like gaps or moments of refusal, then I'm able to then use the sonic to complement really rather the visual aspect of things. Yeah.
Project and approach to take in the era of Instagram, where
Yeah.
you go in, you press a button. I was saying to a young artist who's 17 on Monday that just so that you, this is me saying this, just so that you know, before
Mm.
digital photography, you had to actually meter for the light. You couldn't just pick your camera up and push a button
Yeah,
because it
yeah, yeah,
was
true.
a disaster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
now
it's a
you can't
very
just walk.
shift way of like thinking about even like images, how you even like develop an image because it's a very sensitive process that really allows you to slow down and really think as to what is it that you want to make, really, as opposed to just clicking. Yeah. But I think
And
also in terms of composition, it also helps. It challenges me a lot when it comes to composition because a lot of the time I have to really I have to think very quick as to what composition I'm kind of going to be going with, but also what medium I'm going to be printing on because what I what I've started doing is printing on this reed mat. So I would sort of put the whole chemical process, then taking it in or whenever I have to like start exposing it, what becomes interesting is the longer I've kept the reed, like for as long as I've applied the chemical process, then when I'm start exposing the reed mats, really quite the property of even like it being a reed mat, you know, and the way in which the chemical sits on the mat itself becomes quite an interesting way of reading through the image as well. Yeah.
technical question. So, I mean, red and blue makes green. So does, because cyanotype is cyan, so does it
Yeah.
go green? Does the final image go greenish?
It does go greenish, yeah, but a lot of it does hold because also I had to kind of figure out, yeah, it does kind of go, it doesn't kind of become solid blue, but it kind of has like this kind of almost like a turquoise, yeah, greenish color that it turns into, which is quite beautiful, yeah.
And also I thought what's quite phenomenal is uh, besides using cyanotype as a as an older medium, a more sort of, you could say, archaic medium, revisiting history, moving away from this instantaneous, instant photographing, instant, as you say, composing and having to make different choices. Just quickly harping back on a previous point about when we used to pick up a camera and have to actually focus, meter, read the light, and make different
Mm.
decisions.
Yeah,
Photography used to kick us in the ass. I mean, it used to really like show us
yeah,
that like the light was more powerful than us. So it's quite an
true.
interesting power
Yeah,
relation, how humbling it must be to
yeah,
to to go back and be, have your ass kicked by light, just to make it, a light joke about
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's also quite interesting because the way I was also more interested in thinking about this, an old, I mean, cyanotype as a medium that kind of to go back to was the kind of the students that we teach now, they're very much influenced by Instagram, social media. Everything is just like instant phone. So for them to quite process as like to make an image, it really takes, you require like good lights and light can make or break what you. So it also became like a moment for me to just to think through like, okay, as a methodology, as an approach, it helps really thinking through as to like what I could achieve, but also like how much can I push this medium using this, yeah.
Of like, so I mean, let me backtrack a little bit before I launch into the process and the methodology is the question like why do it? Like why would we do it? And why would we specifically, artists like you and I, photographic artists, get so damn excited about this? And and I think that one of the the processes is to when photography or when or rather let me backtrack a bit, when the process starts to become an artistic research, an artistic practice, because yes, you can learn how light responds to a surface, but in doing so, and I can imagine now, you've studied, you've done all these degrees, you've trained in visual culture, and now you're teaching it, so you keep going back and forth in in witnessing the technological advance versus going back, and why do it, bringing me back to my question, why do it? For myself, I don't know if you agree with me, Skums, that there's a point at which you start to see how light responds to a surface and it becomes philosophical and it becomes poetic and it starts to answer certain questions that we're asking and we're inquiring. And I'm interested in what you said earlier with that regard, in how a contact print helps you to become in contact with the properties of the landscape, which are, as you were saying, environmental, textural, sound,
Yes,
light, and this
yes.
combination of everything coming together. Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, part of that kind of going back, or like rather like as a opus ponderandi, what it really quite sort of a, not just philosophically, I mean, thinking through also like as to sometimes we tend to take for granted as to how much is there. But also for me, the impetus within this time to use the cyanotype was also this need to, because I work within the context of communities. So I do come in, get to introduce myself, even like in the beginning, the sites that I have to go through, I'm relying solely on people and communities. So a lot of the time, I tend to want to challenge the stereotype of just taking, because also for me, it is also about what's there. What do I leave behind for them, a piece of an artistic intervention, research, because a lot of the time I could just do these things using digital, take it away, go show it in a gallery or museum somewhere. But I think for me, it is also like that sort of an ethical thing, question around what is it that I'm doing in this space, but also what am I leaving behind?